Hello, everyone. This is Rob Golfi with REMAX, the Golfi Team. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show, Niagara Edition, with host today, Aiko Iwashita. Did I say that? Did I say that right, Aiko?
You did. Yes. Thank you so much, Aiko Iwashita. Thank you so much, Rob Golfi. Again, filling in for Steph Vivier today. We are kind of like winding down the summer season. The anticipation for the fall real estate market is kind of on the brim as well. So what's kind of happening in your life of real estate right now, Rob? I'm sure a lot.
Oh, it is. A lot of things are happening. Inventory is still going up. Houses are sitting a little bit. If you're not priced bang on your price of home, you're going to sit on it and it's going to take a long time to sell. So you got to do either a price reduction on your home to get to the market value that it is today. And there's a lot of frustration out there, frustration with realtors and frustration with people selling their homes, and also even some buyers, because they're looking at these houses and they're saying, hey, you know what? There's a lot of homes for sale, but everybody's asking too much money right now, and that's what's happening right now. And it's tough. This is one of the toughest markets. We went through a tough market last year around the same time. It was a dormant market last year at this time.
Is this just kind of what's happened after the pandemic, and we're just kind of still dealing with it?
Yeah, like what's happening is we got different trends that are happening. Like the pandemic totally changed it. Like basically, you put stuff in this big bag and shake it up. And it's like you don't know what to expect. So last year, I know around this time, you could have your house price bang on and it wasn't selling. It's just the way the market is. And because of interest rates, obviously. Now they've done 4 interest rate drops in the last, or 3 interest rate drops in the last 3-4 months. And it still hasn't shaken up. It still hasn't changed the landscape of real estate. People are still sitting and waiting, and so that's why
waiting for another drop.
I think, this is my opinion, I think people are just waiting, saying let's just wait it out. They're going to come down another quarter point next month, another quarter point next month. It is, and they're just waiting. But what's going to happen is that everybody's going to jump in at the same time. And that's when the competition is going to happen. That's when everybody's going to bid against each other, trying to buy homes. And it's exactly what home buyers don't want, but it's going to happen if they're sitting and waiting. I mean, you can pick up some good deals. The market is balanced. If you price your house right now, you will sell at the market value, and it's a good market value. Like last year, different story. This year, you price it right, you're going to sell it, it's going to move. And but we have a lot of overpriced listings on the market, and they're just sitting and waiting. And what are you going to do? It's just, but the other side of it, high-end homes are selling if it's done up nice. Like, you know what I mean? Like if it's got all the bells and whistles, it fits the criteria, especially if it's a bungalow. I'll tell you, if you got a high-end bungalow and you want to sell it, give us a call. We got buyers looking for that kind of stuff. And they want that. Like you got the 50, 60 plus crowd. They want luxury still, and they're living in their big 2-story home, but they need a big 1-story home, and they need the space, and they're used to the space. They want that. But again, it's got to be done up. It can't be a dated house from the 90s or the 50s or 60s. It's got to be done up nice. And there's been a lot of bungalows built, especially custom homes built in the last 5 to 10 years. And so there's some opportunities there, people that want to get out of their bungalow or move elsewhere or move into a retirement home or whatever the situation is. There's opportunity out there.
Yeah, people in that age range too, they don't want to take on another big project of a massive home reno.
No, because what? They're done. They're older. They don't want to live in dust or move to another location while renovations are going on. They're past that. Sometimes they'll buy another house, renovate it, and then move in while they're still living and existing in their home, and then put their house up for sale. There's all different ways. That generation has money, and they can do that now. Millennials can't do that. They need to sell their house to buy another one, and they have to match the closing dates, or they have to bridge finance to go in there. But But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Now, the other thing is, like, would you list your house now? I have no problem. If I had to list my house right now, I would have no problem. But the key thing is pricing it right. That's the key thing. You'll do well on that. But if you overprice it and then you start dropping the price, then dropping the price again, then dropping it, and it just, it'll hurt you in the long run. And I talk about that on the show all the time, about, pricing strategies. We're still getting competition out there. There's still houses, bidding because they were priced right, and people are bidding, but they're not bidding like they did in 2021 and the beginning of 2022. They're like, let's say you list a house, and the house value is $800. If you list at $850, there's a chance you might get an offer. Possibly somebody might say, "Hey, listen, I'll give you $800." And you might make the deal. But if you list it at $800,000, there's a high probability you might get $820,000 for it. There's that. It just depends on the experience of the agent. Like, we don't just jump at an offer that comes in the first day that the house is listed. We want to get some, breathing room on this listing, and we want to get some people on it. But it depends on the offer that they're bringing. Like, and that's why we list on Thursdays and Fridays, because we want these Toronto people coming down. They're driving down the Queen Elizabeth Way. I don't know. I think the traffic on Saturday and Sunday is worse than it is during the weekday.
Yeah. But so is that a strategy then? You say you list on a Wednesday and a Thursday, or
no,
Friday?
Thursday and Friday. We list on a Thursday and Friday. Okay. Yeah, because you want to get those Toronto buyers coming in, and chances are they're off on the weekends. They have the time to look at houses. If you list on a Monday, Tuesday, and the house sells out on, like, let's say Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, you just shortchanged yourself on having all that buyers that can't come from the GTA. And we know they're all coming down this way. The house prices are affordable. A lot of them are retiring, and a lot of them are working remotely, and they are looking for houses in the Niagara region and also Hamilton. So you got to be really, really good at strategizing and finding the right, getting them exposure, getting them exposure. Yeah.
And the right real estate agent, because you're saying that, there's a lot of people coming from out of the area into the Niagara region. I know from my experience living in Grimsby, the same happened with my neighbor. They were from the Toronto area. For those buyers, would you suggest that they bring in their own real estate agent from where they are currently living, or do they come over to the Niagara region and call you because, well, you guys know the area. You guys know exactly what's happening.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to tell you a story, and it's an ugly story. So listen, if you're in Toronto and you're looking at moving anywhere outside of Toronto, hire the local agent that lives and works there. They know the area, because the Toronto agent is he's gonna have lack of local market knowledge. He doesn't know what the community's like. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know the regulations and zonings in the area, and he doesn't know how to deal. Sometimes they don't know how to deal with agents locally in negotiating. Sometimes they come in with their big, they flexing muscle, and they don't realize they're hurting themselves more doing that. So they got to be very careful. The one thing I'll tell you, here's a good story for anybody that is moving anywhere in Ontario. Do not bring your agent because you think he's a great guy and he's honest. He doesn't have knowledge of the area if you're moving into a different city. We had this Toronto agent sell a house and this is a story in Hamilton. They brought the clients from Toronto, brought them to Hamilton, and they sold him a house in this really bad neighborhood. Like, we're talking very bad. Crack, in fact, like just crack, drugs, everything.
The buyer.
Pardon?
They didn't know. Unbeknownst to the buyer, they didn't know.
They did not know. And they ended up buying the house. It was a good deal and everything else like that. They moved in, and I guess they started realizing, like, this is not a great neighborhood. There's a lot of drugs roaming around this neighborhood. So husband's working, and I can't remember if they had a baby or not, but husband's working, going out. Now she's talking to the neighbors, the wife. And guess what? She ends up on crack.
No.
She ends up on crack, devastating the family. So who knows what convinced her to try it? Who knows what it was? But guess what? Destroyed that family. There you go, people. Listen. Hire the agent in the town. If they live and work there, it'll make a big difference, because you don't want to end up buying a house in a neighborhood that the agent doesn't know and you don't know. So be very careful. There's a lot of stories like that. That's a really extreme story, but there's a lot of stories of a lot of different things. There's rat infested areas. I'm telling you, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're buying a house, here's one bad thing you got to look for. We had this one guy bought a house. Now there was rodents in the neighborhood, but people took care of it. They, had pest control, manage it. They maintained it, no problem. Well, these people moved in. They really didn't take care of it. This was like a newly renovated house. The house was nice, newly renovated. These people move in. They really didn't attend to have pest control come in. The neighbors did, like they were controlled and everything, but these people didn't. And it got to a point, it got so bad. I saw pictures. I'm telling you, somebody should have said to them, listen, you better take care of this problem, or they should have known about this problem. And basically this house is garbage now. It should be burned down, and they basically had to walk away, and the banks take over. Now, what are they going to do with it? Like, this house has got rats in it, dead rats, live rats. Like, they own this house. The neighbors are frustrated because they didn't do anything for pest control. And it's sad. It's a sad.
Brings their value down.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you know what? Like, we have people that want to look in that neighborhood and say, hey, be careful. There's a lot of rodents in this area that can cause a lot of problems. You better have pest control in right away. Otherwise, you will have problems, and the rats will eat your house up while you're alive. These rats were running around the house while these people were sleeping. They were running on their bodies. That's
like an absolute horror story.
That's
scenario.
Like something you would see in a movie. You know what I mean? It was bad. And I was trying to help the guy and say, listen, I don't know what to tell you. They called their insurance company. Their insurance company says no way. And the best thing that could happen to that guy right now, because the house is destroyed, is the house burned down. But now everybody knows he's been wanting to get out of this situation. Wow. But it's tapped. There are bad situations like that. So you got to be very careful on not, hey, I know your agent from Toronto is great, and he's going to help you buy something in Hamilton, Niagara. But guess what? If you buy in the wrong neighborhood, that agent from Toronto is not your friend. He is only thinking about himself, and he just wants to make money and drive all the way and sell you something in a neighborhood he has no clue of. So be very, very careful about that.
And speaking of, the local aspect of you being such a great local team, I know that you cover all of the Niagara area as well as Hamilton, as you were saying as well. But you just recently opened up a Grimsby office. So I wanted to congratulate you guys on that.